this week's edition of Kitchen Science, we are going to make Growing Rock crystal candy in a glass. And there's a couple steps that you have to do in order to do this. You need sugar, you need 4 cups of sugar, 2 cups of water, some food coloring, a tall glass with a clip, and then you're going to need these little sticks. They're like bamboo skewers. I actually found them at ShopRite, a whole package of them for about $1. So they're pretty easy to find. And let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is make our sugar solution. So what you're going to do is get a small pot, and you're going to put in the 2 cups of water, and then you're going to put in 4 cups of sugar. You're going to bring this to a boil. So you're going to put that burner on high, and we're going to make that boil. Spoon. And this is creating the sugar solution that's going to make your candy. So have you ever wondered how much sugar was in candy? It's a lot of sugar. So that's why it's a good treat to have once in a while. I wouldn't have it all the time. Okay, so we're just going to keep mixing that up until the sugar dissolves and the solution comes to a boil. We want to keep stirring it. Okay? All right. And how do I tell when it's been dissolved? It's hard to see, but you can see right now it's kind of like a milky color, or it's not real clear. When it gets to be a more clear consistency, that's how we'll know it's dissolved. So I'm going to keep working on that. We're going to keep cooking that up until that's all dissolved. Okay, so my sugar solution is just about boiling, and it doesn't sound like there's sand in there anymore. And when I go like this, it really appears that it's completely dissolved. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. That's when we know it's time to take it off. We don't want it to burn. We're just going to take it off the burner and let that cool for about 20 minutes. And you can see where it's a little more clear. It's not a milky, filmy color anymore. It's clear. That's another way you can tell. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare, while this is cooling, we're going to prepare the sticks. And how we do that is we're going to put some sugar on a piece of tin foil. In like a line. Probably about as long as your stick. Okay. Then we're going to wet the stick, and then we're going to roll it in the sugar and get it coated, and then we're going to let it dry completely. Okay? Let's do that. So all I did was wet the stick in the under the faucet, and now I'm just going to roll it in the sugar. As best that I can. Okay. You can see that the stick is covered in sugar, but it's still wet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave it here, maybe roll it a little bit more just to get that coated. Maybe tap it down. And then I'm just gonna leave it here to dry because it has to dry completely, okay? So while that's drying and our sugar solution is cooling, it has to cool about 20 minutes. We're gonna stop with this, and then we're gonna come back and finish putting it all together, okay? So let's let that cool. Okay, so the solution has cooled, and now we're going to add some food coloring to it so that we can make it a colored candy. I was going to just use one color, but I decided that if I did a little bit of red and a little bit of blue, I can possibly make a candy that's a purple color. So I'm encouraging you to mix up colors to make different colors that aren't in the box. So I'm just going to add a little bit of red. I'll show you what that looks like. And I'll put a little bit of blue. It's making a purple color, pretty. Okay, so now we're going to pour this into the glass. Okay. And then we're going to take the stick that has the dried sugar crystals on it. Now the trick is that's where the clothespin comes in, because you can't have the stick touching any part of the glass. So this is going to hold it in place. And I'm just going to let it sit on the edge of the glass where it's not touching any part of the glass, inside or out. There we go. Okay. You might have to play around with it a little bit. So we don't want it touching the side of the glass. My clothespin is just a little too small. Okay, so now the next thing is that you have to leave this in a quiet place where there's not going to be a lot of noise. Believe it or not, noise can disturb the crystals, the crystal process from growing. This is going to take about 2 weeks. So I'll check back on it and I'll show you what it looks like as it progresses, okay? When it's finished, we're gonna put it on a piece of wax paper and let it dry before we can eat it, okay? So there it goes, it's getting started. I'm gonna put this in a nice quiet place, and then we'll take a look at it and see how it looks in a few days to a week, and then at the end of 2 weeks, I'll check in on it again, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, it's been 1 week since we had our cooled sugar solution put into the glass with the sugar-coated skewer stick, and it's not touching any part of the glass. That's what the clip here is for. The clothespin is keeping it from touching the bottom, and the other skewer is holding that clothespin up because it was a little bit shorter than the mouth of the glass. So you can see that it's still that purple color. The stick on the inside is not touching any part of the glass, and you can see that it's already starting to form right around inside here. You see that in there, right there, where look down where below the stick is. You'll see that is not ice. That is the rock candy that's hardening around that stick. So it said it takes 2 weeks. So we're going to check in on this. Again, this has been 1 week that the sugar crystals are growing. And we'll give it another week and then it should be complete. Let's take a look. It's hard to see inside the glass, but I can definitely see it formed crystals on the top. I'm not sure how far down it goes. It's almost like a edible science experiment. So we'll check back in a week, see how it's doing, and hopefully we'll have some rock candy we can eat. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks since we've set up our sugar solution to make our rock crystal candy. So now we're going to try to figure out how to get it out of here and see if it works so we can enjoy the candy, because now it's time to eat it. So the first thing is to take the clip off. I have this clipped on here like that, okay, and it's still liquidy. I'm going to show you what this looks like on the top. So it still has a liquid inside. I'm going to attempt to remove this. Wow, that's so cool. So that's the rock candy. I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. And we're gonna put it on the paper towel to dry. And I have the paper towel right here. We're gonna lay this down and let that dry. But I'm going to show that to you one more time. And that's a nice crystal rock candy. Well, it is real.
It looks like real crystals.
Yeah, it looks like real crystals, and it's actually a little rock candy tree. So that really grew very nicely. I was kind of worried about what that was going to look like. And so then what you do is you just place it on a paper towel to kind of dry. As you can see, there's already some liquid that was still wet that's on the paper towel. So we're gonna let that dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to, I guess, dispose of what's inside here.
We could drink it.
So I don't know if you wanna drink that or not.
I do.
That's awful lot of sugar.
I do.
It's pretty solid in there. I'm just gonna dig around in the cup so you can see. Yeah, so the pieces are sinking in there. So the rest of it, look at this. The rest of it is really liquid. That's really cool, because I was wondering if the whole glass, if the whole glass was going to solidify into rock candy, but it's not. It's really cool how this formed a crystal on the skewer, but what's left in the glass is still very liquidy. But yet the crystals formed on here. That's pretty cool. Like they attach themselves. Yeah, because look at that. That's just like a glass of
honey.
Yeah, let me try to pour some out so you can see what it looks like, because we're done with the lollipop part. So I'm gonna hold this up like this. Hold on to it carefully. Look, That's what's on the inside. Hold the glass very careful. That's what's on the inside of the glass. And actually, if you can see the inside of this glass, you can see all the crystals that formed along the edges, along the sides of the glass. Do you see that? That's like hard. See, I'm taking the knife, the butter knife, to that, and I can get some of that to come out. But that part is all crystallized. But what was in the center is very liquidy. You just saw it pour out. And what's left is what's attached to the inside on the glass, and it looks like there's some on the bottom. Okay? You want to taste a little bit of that and see how that, you can just take it off the, give that a little taste.
Pretty good?
Is it good? Like, tastes like candy? Yeah? Okay, so there you have it. We have some rock candy on the inside of the glass and on the bottom. The center stayed liquidy, but we have this stick right here that had the sugar on it. You see that?
It's really sticky.
And yeah, because it's very sugary. Okay. All right, so enjoy your rock candy. So I just wanted to show you that all that rock crystal that formed on the inside of the glass, and I was having a hard time washing the glass to get it out. So what I did was I put warm water in the glass and just let it sit on the counter. And as you can see, all the rock crystal that formed on the inside of the glass is pretty much melted, except for up here where the water level was below this point. So that's still pretty hard in there. Actually, it's coming off, and there's still some in the bottom. But that's how you can clean it so that you can reuse it. So just put warm water in there, and the crystal sugar will dissolve, and then you'll be able to wash the glass and reuse it. So, okay, enjoy. Thank you. I was surprised that the color purple wasn't a little bit darker on the candy like it looked in the glass. So perhaps you could try using more food coloring to see if the candy will come out in a darker color like what was in the glass. So let me know how that works out for you. I'd like to see your colored candy.